What's up, guys? It's Wednesday, and welcome to CNA Films and Animation's Animation Corner. What are we reviewing this week, Corey?
Well, this week we had one of our viewers request an older animated film that he grew up with and loved and wanted to hear our opinion. And that film was Hot Wheels World Racers Highway 35, the movie.
That's a mouthful right there.
Yes, it is. So, what was the plot of this one, Alan?
Well, I remember this film. It's from 2003. It was an extremely big deal when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is kind of scattered on this film. You don't know exactly what it's supposed to be early on. Some of the best racers in the world are drivers, not racers. Drivers in the world are picked to be part of this world race, which is a race that crosses interdimensional planes, created by this ancient race, and they're trying to capture this artifact called the Wheel of Power that's supposed to hold unknown powers. There's several different racers, there's teams, they're trying to win each race. In the movie there's 4 races, each a different element, and the last one has the Wheel of Power. They throw some side stories in. What did you think of this film?
Well, I'll start with the positives. I did like a lot of the concepts, a lot of the ideas for the different worlds that they travel into. There was a lot of neat visuals, especially like when they were in the desert. There's like pyramids,
Yes.
and each one's different. He has like a different design, and they're all really neat.
And a giant T-Rex statue for whatever reason. That is
And
really detailed for some reason.
I mean, it was very impressive. A lot of the camera angles and stuff in this film are very neat.
Yes.
They do a good job at capturing some of the action throughout the races and all of that. And I did like some of the cars. A lot of them had neat designs. Reminded me of cars I used to play with when I was younger. So I mean, it kind of had a little bit of a nostalgia feel for me just by, the car designs and stuff. I had never seen this movie before, and he had. But those were the positives.
Camera angles for the animation at times are really cool. They're unique. I thought was a good idea was they incorporate that the race course is the same as the racetrack, Hot Wheels racetracks you can buy. They're just enlarged. They're neat. The twirls, the loops, they have those. It shows the drivers going through the spins. Really neat animation on those. I did like that at certain points where there was an obstacle, they actually had to think it through. They didn't just hit it full speed.
Mm-hmm.
And they even show like that failed at times. That was good. What did you think was bad about this film?
Well, first off, I have to say that the animation overall is very dated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to knock it. I mean, it's not bad animation. It's just, it hasn't aged well.
Yes.
And, I mean, I'm sure it was state of the art when it came out. I do remember when shows like that were very big, animation-wise. But Ugly Martians comes to mind. But, it just hasn't aged well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's a negative. A lot of inconsistencies in plots and character were in this film. I felt that, like sometimes, a character would be shown, up ahead, like they're ahead, winning the race or something, and then 2 scenes later they're near the rear of the thing without really explaining how they got there. Just little things like that to just help make it confusing. And then also another thing that I was very confused by was there's a lot of characters in this movie, and you can tell that they're trying to give each character like a different kind of personality, and how help you distinguish between each character, but they do it rather poorly, because even by the end of the movie I was still confused at who was who, and what person was driving which car and stuff. I mean, it was just very confusing, and it really wasn't explained all that well.
I agree with you that there's 4 or 5 teams of 4, so that's either 16 or 20 racers at a time. Some of them they give very slight personalities to, or they're not even mentioned at all. I did like each car, each team had its own special abilities and whatnot for this film. What I thought the film at times seemed to lack, I guess, direction. It lacked direction. It went to, I guess, side characters. For most of the plot, the protagonist, the guy we meet at the beginning, it doesn't really follow him, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this is the protagonist, let's put him back in it. And then it goes and does the backstory of other characters and tries to build these relationships, not with the protagonist, but their own little thing. One guy, he's the leader of a city, I guess, that lives in the desert, that's in near ruin, and it's about his struggle with either racing or saving his people, which is really neat. But for the main plot of the story, it's like, okay, what this guy's going through is bad. What does it have to do with rest?
I do feel that certain element does tie in later at the end of the movie.
It does, but they tie it in. But to get there, it kind of goes, well, wait, what does this have to do with anything? And it's like, yeah, this is what this has to do. Really? You just tied that at the end. That's it. They do this whole thing with these 2 brothers, and I don't know. There's a rift forms between them. One wants to be, the younger brother wants to live up to the elder brother's standard, and then he feels betrayed, and then they make up at the end. They don't introduce the, I guess, bad guys to 3/4 of the way through the film, and then it's like, yeah, now there's the big climax. Where were these guys before?
Another negative that I guess it was just kind of a minor negative, but I felt that this movie could have been shortened by about 15 minutes. I mean, it was leaning on the excessive, overly long side.
Yeah.
I I understand that they're trying to build, characters and everything, and I like this movie almost had 2 different endings.
Yeah.
It felt that way. It could have ended 20 minutes before it did.
Yeah.
And it would have been a satisfying enough ending.
Yeah, I guess the climax, to me, made no sense. Of course, they get the wheel, and then it's like, oh yeah, you can't go back to Highway 13. And they're devastated. Like, why? We want to go back and race. And they just kind of do this whole me thing. Racing in the Highway 35 is in our blood. You just raced there for 2 days, 3 days. It's supposed to mean more to them, but they don't really explain why. And then they pretty much cancel out the last like 30 minutes of the movie. It's like, really? At times I liked it, like this film. At other times it's like, what the heck's going on? How about you, Corey?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good things with this film, but there are a lot of just inconsistencies and confusing moments that kind of bring it down to just a good to watch at least once type of thing. I probably won't watch this again, but I did enjoy my time watching it.
I remember growing up, I watched this movie, and I watched the 2 series that span off of it. I enjoyed them. I remember enjoying this one more than I did this time. I remember when they were announcing this and all the toys they released, the online game that you could play if you had the toys, that you could get codes from them. All this is a big thing. I remember when it came out. It has neat designs on the cars and on the different worlds. I remember they expand that a whole much more in this actual series, involved series actually. I can kind of see similarities between this and the later show, Hot Wheels Battle Force 5, in some of the characters, in some of the worlds, the details. I can see it. What would you give this film?
I'm probably going to give this film a 6.7 out of 10. I did enjoy a lot of elements to it, but they're the ones that kind of deterred it from it. The negatives really brought down the overall score for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm going to give it a 6.5. There are some parts that are really amazing. Other parts that look extremely dated. Some parts that are confusing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to be. The film's alright. If you liked it growing up, I can see why. When I was younger, I loved this, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this movie? Did you grow up with the series? If you have, tell us in the comments. Do you agree with us? It kind of looks dated. There's some parts that don't hold up. Tell us in the comments.
The winner for this week's poll, and that is Hitchcock. So be sure to come back on Friday to see my review of Hitchcock, and the next week's poll will be in Friday's video.
Alright. Be sure, if you liked commentary, liked the review, be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Check out our other videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one.